I think Rachel's looked over. Meg, have you got a minute to look over them?
Yep, I looked them over. They're good.
Okay, so I motion to approve May 11th, 2020 minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and then we'll move on to public comment. Mark, is there any?
We received no public comment prior to the meeting. I checked with Selena. If we receive anything, we'll report it out at the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to reports and updates. So Haley, take it away with your principal's report.
All right, so we made it to the end of the school year, yay! And you know, I said this at our last meeting, like Laura just did a really, really, really great job being very like structured with the kids, keeping them on task, keeping them going. She did a schedule that flowed really nicely. She she did her end of year letters already and was able to like really summarize where the kids were, what they had done. And yeah, I think she wrapped everything up really nicely. It was kind of funny, like without having an 8th grader, there wasn't any like end of year event like at the other schools. So it felt kind of like, I don't know, oh, now we're done. But I know the kids are like ready for that. So yeah, so we're going to have phone conversations or Zoom conversations with parents, and then that's it. And we're already kind of looking ahead to some things next year that, you know, we're working on planning on. And then of course, you know, when the new budget comes into effect, then we're looking at those like positions that we had talked about, potentially posting for like a 5% special ed teacher and getting the electrician to come out and some things like that once we get into July 1. So right now in June, it's kind of low key month now that we've made it through the end of instruction.
Good.
Sorry, one more thing. And the kids all wrote an essay on Zoom school, and their favorite part of Zoom school was the specials. And if you saw Brianna's interview with the Islanders, she mentioned that as well, that like Zoom school is better because they got art and music, because the art music teacher from Cranberry, now that everything was Zoom, they're just like, well, we can do that for Frenchboro. We don't need to get on a boat schedule. And the kids loved it and want more of that next year. And so I definitely hope to use REAP funds again to like continue some of the projects and things that they were working on. Yeah, that worked really well. And Laura was really good at organizing all the technology part of that to make it work. So that was, you know, when we were going over our stuff today, like that was a big positive from this experience. Like when we take away the restrictions of the boat schedule, we might be able to get more virtual workshops and stuff for them, even when we're back in regular in-person learning. So that was kind of neat.
Well, good. Is that also your update regarding the remote learning?
Yes.
Christina, I'm just gonna pipe in and tell you that we recognize the uniqueness of the students of Frenchboro and the community. So as we're considering the safe reopening of schools, it may look different in the outer islands than it does on MDI. I think you guys recognize that. A one-size-fits-all approach may not work or continue to work for the outer islands. And we're going to work with you, the school board, the staff, the community, to make sure that we do the right thing, because you know, safety looks different depending upon populations and geography. And so I just want to make sure the board's aware of that as we consider that. Haley was invited to be part of my advisory group, and Crystal DeGrassa, who's a parent, a teaching principal like Haley, is going to represent the outer and unbridged islands, but Haley will have a voice as you will. So I just want to make sure you guys know we're talking about it, we're thinking about it, and we're also thinking about, you know, what the world's going to look like with health and safety moving forward, specific to Frenchboro.
Okay, sounds good. We'll move on to discussion items. So we'll talk about payrolls. Hi, Nancy.
Yep. Thanks. I know that there was some, I just want to start off by saying how pleased I am with the direction that the town's moving and recouping and reconciling budgets. Nancy's pleased. It goes without saying, Nancy's been our business manager for nearly 40 years. And so she's the rock. But some questions have come up about payroll, and I really would like the board to consider Nancy's recommendations and give an overview of what the request of the town is and what she feels would be best in moving forward. So Nancy, thanks for joining us.
Okay. I know that there was a request from the town to, they were gonna go move to a payroll service and wanted to have the school payroll incorporated with that possibly. I did talk with a person at Bangor Payroll, and I talked to our auditors, and the auditors' suggestion is that we keep the payroll the way it is with the school. What we could do is we could get a tax ID number for the school itself for tax purposes, so that we would be doing, I mean, we do the payroll now, we do the federal tax deposit, and we do the state deposit, and I upload the files for the quarterlies. Basically, what we would do is we would file the 941s to the school separate from the town, and we would do the W-2s on that tax ID number and the 1099, so that we wouldn't have to, we wouldn't be on the town's tax ID number. That would be the best solution, I think, because there are so many kind of quirks with the school, as far as you have to think about the Maine State Retirement, the Maine PERS, and we have to upload those files, and that has to be handled basically through our office for a lot of stuff to do dealing with that. So I think that's probably the best solution, but I know I had talked to Christine about it a little bit.
Yeah. Would you be willing to talk to our person and stuff in charge, like the treasurer stuff, Daniel Swain?
Daniel? Sure. Yeah, I've talked to Daniel before regarding it.
Okay.
And,
I think it would be good to kind of, I guess, follow up with him again and stuff and go over the same thing, instead that you have spoke to us and told us about it and stuff, and that we want, you to approach him again. But
okay.
And I think the separate tax ID number sounds like the best option, and it will unconfuse what's been really a rat's nest and really confusing. Yes. I think that's a really good solution, Nancy. Thanks for sorting that.
Daniel has been really good about, trying to get stuff to us, and I think the auditors actually, they are working on the schools. Well, I think they're working on the town's 2019, I think, that they were working on it. At least they're working on the 18-19 for the school too. So we're getting there finally. So that will.
But no, I mean, we think that sounds good, and we appreciate your work, Nancy. You do a good job. Thank you. Thank you for zooming in.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we can move on to the substitute. I put that on there because I approached someone and stuff, which Haley, I mean, you've talked to her and stuff. Mark, am I allowed to mention names?
Hard question for me to know, but so are we talking generally about just being able to hire a substitute? Because if we are, what I'd recommend that we don't mention names, but if you have a person that would be a great candidate, that you just email Haley or have that person contact Haley, because we're always welcoming any persons that would be a good fit for the schools and meet those criteria, but I would avoid specific names in
Yeah.
public.
No. That's why I wanted to ask first, but I mean, like what I can say and stuff, there is someone that we've all talked about before, and I did a little bit of discussion and stuff like that, and I will reach out to you, Haley, and stuff so that we can move forward, because I think it's looking good for us all.
Awesome.
Okay.
So yeah, I would just provide the name or have the individual contact Haley, and I would tell you that, you know, this person aside, across all of our schools, we're always looking for great people, and we'll welcome them with open arms.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so we will move on to action items. So extension of contract and adjustment of salary for administrator.
Yes, if it pleases the school committee, I'm thrilled to nominate Haley Fenton for an extension of her current contract to second year of probationary status. And we had a personnel evaluation executive session earlier in the evening. I can't say enough good things about Haley. She's been a real ambassador for Frenchboro and an advocate, but also provided good support to make sure that Frenchboro stays connected to the AOS. And she's had to navigate some real challenges, and she's done that really, really well. I think that, you know, with our current teacher and the support for kids, she's just done a great job, and I appreciate the balance. I think it's been a good combination. It hasn't, both between the Cranberry Isles and Frenchboro, it's worked really, really well. So with that, I'd like to recommend her for an extension of her contract through the 2020-2021 school year at an amount as approved by the school committee in the fiscal year 21 draft budget. And I don't have that number in front of me. I apologize. It's in the budget as a 20% position. I see Nancy scrambling.
Nancy's got it.
Nancy's got it. She always does. She's bailing me out again.
Nomination. Move to accept the nomination.
We can provide the number in the minutes.
Okay. Well, I motion to approve Haley's nomination for her second year probation period with the amount in the budget for 2020, 2021.
You want that figure?
Yeah.
It's $16,846.
For the amount of $16,846. Thanks, Nancy.
I'll second.
Okay.
And then all in favor? Okay.
Thank
Look
you.
at this. So we'll move
Thank
on.
you.
You.
Congratulations. We're lucky. We're lucky to have you.
Year two.
I can't wait for year two. Year two is always a little bit better.
Yeah, if you survive year one, you
We'll do all right for
two
year
will be
two.
better.
Okay, so we'll move on to transfer to reserve. So Mark, I'll let you.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina. I'd like to make the following recommendations, and these come from Nancy Thurlow, the business manager. I would recommend the board consider transfer to reserve funds as follows. Special education, recommend transferring $10,000 to the emergency special education reserve account as directed in the 2019-2020 approved budget. And secondly, tuition, recommendation to transfer $12,800 to the tuition reserve account as directed in the 2019-2020 approved budget.
You want me to motion these together?
You can move them as a slate if the board chooses, or you can break them out.
Okay. So I motion to move to transfer $10,000 to the emergency special education reserve as directed in 2019 and 2020 budget for special education, And then for tuition, I move to transfer $12,800 to the tuition reserve as directed in 2019-20 budget.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Woohoo.
The last item is, I don't think it's applicable, and I certainly hope it isn't, because we have 2 employees, well, actually 3. You've got myself, Haley, and Laura. But this is an authorization for the superintendent to hire during summer months. I do anticipate, at the convenience of the board, that we'll have meetings during the summer with updates around where we hope to go in the fall. But this is something we do each year, and if there are hirings or vacancies or hirings, it allows me to offer a contract subject to board approval. It doesn't take away your approval status. And it's only during the summer months. So that's really what the whole envelope of this is. So a motion would be in order if you want to authorize me to hire during summer months.
Sorry,
if
Mark.
applicable.
I'm sorry. I motion to approve you to be hired during the summer months.
Second.
All in
Sorry.
favor?
I was like, it's past our bedtime, right?
Sorry. We're a little slow out here.
No, on me.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to other business.
I have no other items unless the board does.
I do. I think this would be the appropriate time to say that Meg Porter has decided to step down off the school board. So I would like to thank Meg for her service, what she's all done.
Thank you.
But
Thank
with
you,
that-
Meg. Really
with that-
appreciate everything you've done and all your support, and I know you're coming at it from a place where you care about the kids and you care about the school and community. Thank you very much.
all right.
You're welcome.
So we'll move on to public comment. So no more public comment?
I've received no public comment, but if we do, we'll forward it to the board.
Okay. So next meeting date is I guess we'll play it by ear.
Yeah, it may be in August, but if we have the need to meet sooner than August, we'll contact you, Christina. And certainly if the board has anything that they wish to discuss, or Haley does, we'll be in touch. I would say with that, we're going to await confirmation at town meeting, and myself and Haley and Nancy will be available to support that process. But that's all I have at this time.
Are you guys coming out?
I think it depends a lot on, what the island's comfortable with. I think it depends upon what the health and safety protocols are. Certainly whether or not we do come physically, all 3 of us or individually, we're going to be prepared to support the process. So I'd like to talk to you about what the town envisions is best for the town, but we're going to be available to support that process, whether in person or remotely.
Okay. Sounds good. So future agenda items at this point, we'll play that by ear. And so with that being said, I call this meeting to adjournment at 6:30 p.m.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank